25th Amendment chatter erupts as Joe Biden makes multiple mistakes and gaffes while talking about Putin and Russia. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story here is regarding President Joe Biden fumbling through his words once again, making incoherent thoughts, and also misleading the public, troops, and reporters about his intentions with Russia and Putin. This one comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire. If you're not already a member, hey, go over and become a subscriber today. And also show us some love here at the Bald Brad Show by hitting that like and subscribe button and sharing this link with your friends and family all over social media. With that being said, they start off here saying, chatter concerning the possible removal of President Joe Biden, age 79. Wow, he's old. From the White House erupted online this weekend after the president on multiple occasions seemed to blurt out escalation talk regarding Russia's invasion of Ukraine, all in contrast with White House messaging. The Daily Wire highlighted that Biden's seemingly off-the-cuff remarks had to be quickly addressed and walked back by the administration. And it was multiple remarks. There was multiple remarks when he's talking about troops, as he's talking about Putin all over the weekend, whether he's talking in front of the troops in Poland, whether he's talking to reporters while he's at NATO, all sorts of things took place over the course of about a week and a half. In one instance, Biden told a group of American troops in Poland that they were going to see the backbone and guts of the American people when you are there.
But also the average citizen. Look at how they're stepping up. Look at how they're stepping up. And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there, you're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank.
Suggesting the White House and the United States was putting boots on the ground in Ukraine, in contrast with White House statements and talking points. POTUS also sparked concern when he seemed to call for regime change in Russia, which again comes in contrast with White House messaging.
We will have a different future, a brighter future, rooted in democracy and principles, hope and light, of decency and dignity, of freedom and possibilities. For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
Now, those on the left and Democrats are going to go, well, what did he say that was wrong, right? What did he say? What's the big deal, man? Hey, what's the big deal? Well, you're talking about Putin here, a guy that kills journalists, a guy that has killed children, a guy that sits there and rockets apartment buildings, neighborhoods. So when a guy's already invaded a country, when he's doing this type of damage, that's the last thing you want to do is piss the guy off more, especially when the dude's already on edge. Now, the left will also say, well, what about Donald Trump? Donald Trump said all these things about all these leaders, especially North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. I agree with you. I don't think Donald Trump should have called him Rocket Man. I don't think he should have escalated the situation with Kim Jong-un, especially when all the guy needed to do is just launch a rocket into South Korea and kill a ton of people. And especially when you're talking about a crazy guy that's very similar to Putin here. So when you have the president of the United States escalating the situation, it is not a good thing. Also, when you have a president that is in cognitive decline, talking about another guy, you're just going to have him give gaffes and misspeak or have misspoken when he's given a speech or something of that nature. And this is the result of it. Quote, now Biden once again begins with some stupid stab at humor. This is so unnerving having this man lead the free world at this point. This isn't my political side speaking. This is objectively dangerous. And a host of other bad things. And this comes from David Limbaugh, who's a columnist and author. Well, David Limbaugh also went on to say, honestly, the 25th Amendment was crafted for such a situation as we are in now with Biden. Yet at least two things militate against this from happening. One, his handlers are running things anyway. And two, Kamala, though not mentally incompetent, just stupid, could be worse. And I 100% agree with that. A lot of times when we talk about the 25th Amendment, and Democrats did the same thing under Trump, and then they realize, oh, well, Pence is going to be in office and all the bad things they said about Pence. It's the same situation here. You have a guy that is in cognitive decline, going out there and escalating talks about Putin and Russia and a possible creating a World War III here. I'm not saying that is going to happen. I'm just saying it has the possibility of creating it. The next best thing is Kamala Harris. I don't think so. This might not be agreed with by many of you that watch the show, but I think Joe Biden is better than Kamala Harris because Kamala hasn't fixed the border issue. She hasn't done anything other than pass out cookies and cackle and laugh. She hasn't done anything. So the sad thing is they're both mentally incompetent. They both don't have a clue on how to run anything. I mean, when she was running the state of California, that's why we're garbage. It would be like having Nancy Pelosi run the country. Could you imagine? Could you imagine just another person that's incompetent of their job doing incompetent things? Quote, yesterday, this comes from Max Abrams. Yesterday, Biden said American troops have been fighting in Ukraine and more are headed to fight there. Today, Biden said the goal of U.S. policy to Russia is regime change. Recall, the media called for the 25th Amendment when Trump sipped water or walked down ramps carefully. That walk down ramps carefully was in a tribute to him basically in mental health issue or having a mental health issue in cognitive decline himself. There was a time when his hand was shaking and they were calling for the 25th Amendment. I mean, the guy sits there and does anything remotely as a health issue. They're calling for the 25th Amendment. But you have Joe Biden here for a year and a half, longer than a year and a half, fumbling through his words, getting lost, can't remember the first question when a reporter follows up with the second question after he's given him the first. He fights with his teleprompter on a week-to-week basis, but we're not going to talk about the 25th Amendment. Again, I'm not saying the 25th Amendment should be enacted. I'm just saying that if you're going to apply it to a guy that's clearly in a better health situation, meaning Trump, than Joe Biden, and you're going to attribute the 25th Amendment to him, but not to the guy that's clearly having health issues, I don't know, a little bit of a double standard there to me. We have Clint here. Imagine President Trump had told U.S. troops they were deploying to fight Russia. Really imagine it. All we'd be hearing is that he's mentally unfit and must be removed from the 25th Amendment. Absolutely right. Again, this callback of the double standard that the media and the Democrats have pushed is now coming full circle on Joe Biden. Host and commentator here, take the keys away after Biden seemingly telling troops they are going to Ukraine. Biden is a puppet. No one thinks he is making the decisions. Just declares war on Russia and keeps talking like nothing happened. Take the keys away. Now, I think this is a little too far, right? There's some comments that people push is a little too far. I can see and read between the lines here of what he's saying. Okay. I don't think that he really means that Biden declared war on Russia. I don't think that this person really meant any of those things. He's merely just highlighting the point that this guy is unfit to be in office. He's unfit to be our commander in chief, especially when you make a serious gaffe like that. You know, Russia's going to want to sit there and try to beat American troops with boots on the ground, meaning they're going to do certain things. They're going to enact military situations upon Ukraine before the Americans can act, before the Americans can put boots on the ground. And he's going to do that relatively quickly. So if Putin actually took him serious, there is really big ramifications for Ukraine as well as America here and NATO with what freaking this knucklehead's saying out here. Where are the 25th Amendment adherents? Retired combat vet. Without invoking the 25th Amendment, others commented on Biden's dangerous commentary in Europe. If it weren't so dangerous, it would be hilarious that Biden, for all his supposed expertise in foreign affairs, somehow sees fit to ad-lib remarks that depart dramatically from policy. 100% agree. Remember, this is a guy that has spent decades in Congress, that's supposed to know everything, that's supposed to have figured out everything. This was a dude that was vice president that basically did nothing under the Obama administration. This is a guy that was a senator. This guy was in Congress, did nothing his entire career. Now, when I say nothing, I don't mean literally nothing, folks. I understand that he did do some things. The vast majority of what he's done was nothing. He's never enacted anything that was astonishing. That was like, oh my God, look at this. The guy actually changed things. He didn't do anything. He was suckling at the teat of the government for multiple decades. And now he's still suckling the teat of the government and going out and saying stupid things, especially when it comes to foreign affairs. I mean, multiple gaffes here, you guys, multiple gaffes. Well, let me know what you think in the comments in terms of enacting the 25th Amendment on President Joe Biden here regarding the gaffes and mistakes he said about Russia and Putin. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for joining me here on The Bald Brad Show. As always, make sure you like and subscribe, share it with your friends and family all over social media, and check out my TikTok page. I did post a video that got over 8,500 views. And there's a ton of comments. People are pissed about that video. it was a good video. It was only 19 seconds, but it clearly poked the bear a little bit. So go over to TikTok, check out that video. Again, there's almost 9,000 views on that video. With that being said, folks, I will see you later here on the Bald Brad Show.